Yo, showing my lyrical attributes and attitude. Shorty bad and new. Put her kitty to the casket who. None of recuperate that settlement.
Hello, my name is Christopher Miguel Gomez.
Hi, my name is Oluwakimpeli.
Hey, what's up? My name is Omar Koita.
Hi, my name is Alfred Taylor. I'm from Cambridge, Massachusetts.
I was born in Bamako, Mali, and raised in Newark, New Jersey.
I'm from Newark, New Jersey. My family is from Nigeria.
Well, originally I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia, but my mom was in the military, causing me to move around frequently. Personally, I would say that masculinity is this idea of what it means to be a male or a boy, and it has a very fluid definition, but that changes with the society that perceives it. And currently, masculinity for me is this kind of character that you have to fit as a guy to show people that you're strong or stable-minded and capable.
As a black man, I feel like there's a bunch of stereotypes that I'm subjected to. For example, I feel like most people think of black men to be really like aggressive people, really violent people. Society definitely thinks this, especially because black men make up half the prison population.
I noticed this, I'm walking by people, I would walk by them and they would like tightly grip their bag or like put their phone away, and then once they pass me, pull it back out. Or like some people even take it to the extent where like walking right by me, they will create unnecessary space in between the two of us, which I don't mind, but it's crazy.
I definitely have experiences where society's stereotypes have been imposed on me. I could name countless times at GW in which these stereotypes have been imposed on me. Like I was a presenter for the capstone conference for UW. I had a bunch of people that like live with me in my dorm come up to me and they're like, "Oh, so you're actually smart." Like I couldn't be smart or something like that. I don't know, maybe it's the way I portray myself, but I don't know. What are my personal experiences with mental health? I feel like everyone has experiences with mental health. Everyone's been depressed before, to an extent.
I'm personally very detached from my emotions. Like I don't look to, like, if I'm going through something or something happened to me, I don't look to go talk to somebody about it, like go find somebody to talk to. I handle it the way I handle it, which is personal to me. It doesn't work all the time. Keep a lot of stuff bottled in, but like, it's a work in progress.
We didn't really talk about therapy or mental health at all. Growing up in my family, in my community, it wasn't really something that people really considered or were open about. And when there was an issue, like more often than not, most things would just get swept under the rug or just get bottled up and nobody would really talk about it.
Do I see vulnerability as a strength or a weakness? This is a funny. I grew up thinking vulnerability was like a weakness, just from not like just from family, just from like my friends and stuff like that. We never talked about our feelings and none of that. Like we kept talking. Like I've never remembered the conversation that I had with my friends where we talked about how we felt. And so like personally, we always thought it was a weakness because like it's like somebody could take advantage of you if they see how vulnerable you are. But like at the same time, growing up, like now, I'm not so sure. Maybe you do need moments in your life where you gotta be vulnerable to show that you're like a regular person just like everybody else. Like you can't bottle everything in.
We mostly don't talk about mental health because, as I said before, we've been taught to be like tough guys and to just like ignore our emotions and ignore our feelings and just keep going. And in some ways, we've kind of molded into society's expectation of us, not because we care about what society thinks, but because we're trying to change our places in society. And to do that, we kind of have to assume a lot of things that we don't really want to, and we just kind of have to keep moving. And when you keep moving, you kind of have to ignore some things or just put some things in the back of your head or in the back of your bag or whatever. And yeah, I also do think that the stigma comes a lot from mental health and vulnerability being associated with women and being associated with being feminine. And if you're someone that thinks of yourself as like very manly, you would never want to assume the characteristics of a woman, you know?
You always hear girls talking about their mental problems. Like, girls are more like, they talk about it a lot easier than men, you know? So like, if other men are seeing that, there isn't any other men going through it or like talking about it, he wouldn't talk about it neither, because all I see is girls talking about it. So I guess this is just something that's gonna go by and I don't really need to talk about it. And I feel like that's what happens.
Personally, I don't think it's stigma, but I think it's this act of resilience that we have in our community, because we know that we go through a lot of things like sudden death of friends or loved ones, or even just pressure from the police, and we have to act tough and to not fold when times are rough, and just having the capability to bounce back from that pain, because sometimes you just have to keep on moving on and you really can't stop, because somebody might see you in this moment of vulnerability and take advantage of that. Personally, I find my support through music, and oftentimes I'll zone out and throw my headphones in when I'm not in the best headspace to deal with something, and it really gives me the time to think about how I feel when an artist is expressing themselves in a song the way I would like to, or if they're just speaking some true facts about themselves and it's just really hitting at the moment. And also, I find myself going to either making music, writing music, or just listening to music to express my emotions and to get stuff off my chest.
Where do I find support? I've been talking about music a lot in this, and I find music to be the main support for my mental health. When I'm in a not so great mental state, in a weird way, I listen to music that like perpetuates that mental state and could make it worse, but I do listen to that music because it communicates what I'm feeling at that moment. And on the flip side of that, I sometimes listen to music that can pull me out of that mental state, music that's like really happy, you know. But I just feel like emotions are a big part of music, and there's an emotion or there's music for almost every type of emotion that you're feeling. So,
Have you had any experiences with toxic masculinity? Actually, come to think of it now, it was actually happening in my home and I didn't realize it. Like, sometimes me and my brother may react to things in like a more intense way. Like, let's say we have like a slight cough. My dad would see and he'd be like, yo, you gotta chill out, because that's not like, you know, you're not that sick. You shouldn't be coughing like that. That's feminine, that's girly, you know?
Honestly, I think the best way to handle toxic masculinity in our community is just spreading awareness and speaking up about it and addressing our tendencies and bad habits, because often we come off as very judgmental to even our own people, shaming our own people just to make them feel guilty instead of allowing them to open up and being honest about how they feel. And just talking about it and spreading awareness can go a long way, because it just gives people the room and the space and the opportunity to be their true selves without any type of prejudice or oppression or feeling bad about how they feel.
I feel like you just gotta normalize like stuff like a black man opening up. We should just normalize stuff like that. Like, we should make it normal to the point where any black man could just open up, talk to anybody, to express his feelings in his situation. Because if we can do that, if every black man is opening up, or just men in general, not even just black men, just men in general, is opening up, and like the kids will follow. Like, people will follow. If you see that your friends, they don't find it hard to open up, you'll probably start opening up too, because you feel like you're not gonna feel like you're being watched, or like somebody is like saying you're weak because you're opening up. Now you feel like since everybody opening up, you should be able to open up too.
I think in order to shift the conversation on mental health in communities, in our communities, as I said before, it starts with the parents, really. But like, it also starts with the way that we relay thoughts to people. And I've been saying it in music, but it doesn't also just pertain to music. It also pertains to other forms of art. But art in itself is like the basis for a lot of things in our culture. So we're consuming a lot of things from this art, but we're not really thinking about how the art has an effect on us. So if we were listening to more conscious music and to more vulnerable music and to watch more vulnerable movies, we would certainly become more vulnerable people, and we would certainly become less toxically masculine. And then these ideals would also probably be bestowed onto children and to the further generations as well.
Honestly, I'm redefining my masculinity as a black man by just being honest about how I feel and a lot of things that I notice and peep, because just talking about it with your friends goes a long way, and it saves yourself from awkward situations, and you really build better relationships with guys that you're closer with. And instead of bottling up things and throwing it to the side, it's way easier just to talk about things with people that you trust, even if you feel like sometimes like you don't know how to talk. Just being able to talk in the first place goes a long way. And honestly, just being accepting of different types of people, because as males, we kind of have this idea that a guy should be a certain way, but guys come in all different shapes and sizes. And not to be mean because somebody dresses different, or they talk different, or their hair is different, or even if they come from a different place, because we truly all do come from different places. Honestly, overall, I feel like I'm redefining my masculinity as a black man by learning every day and keeping an open mind to all the new and different changing ideologies within my society and my community, and accepting that change and being ready for it instead of looking at it with disgust or any type of prejudice or misunderstanding.
Round your city, round the clock. Everybody needs you. No, you can't make everybody equal. Although you got buku family, you don't even got nobody being honest with you. Breathe till I evaporated. My whole body see-through. Transportation handmade, and I know it better than most people.